Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, 31 Days of Horror Volume 8, Day 23, coming at you live and direct. Alright, so I was mistaken yesterday. I said that we were going to Canada today, and no, we're actually going to the US. I think we're in Canada in a couple days. In fact, we're going to be traveling the world quite a bit in the next few days. But without further ado, so today's film is from the 60s, 1966 to be exact, released by Scream Factory, and it's a film that I thought that I'd seen before. And I wasn't 100% sure, so I wanted to do it for this 31 days. And upon watching the film, I'd never seen this one before. So anyways, it is called Chamber of Horrors. Yes, from 1966. Yeah, released by Scream Factory, actually. So, get into a quick little synopsis of the movie. Basically, this one follows our two main characters played by Cesar Danova and Wilfred Hyde-White. Wilfred Hyde-White being like a classic UK actor and stuff like that. Basically, they are two guys that are running basically a macabre wax museum. Wilfred White-Hyde actually plays the artist that sculpts all the wax museum characters and stuff like that, and Cesar Danona, he basically, kind of runs it and stuff like that. But all in all, they're actually two like kind of amateur criminologists, sleuths or whatever. So this specific wax museum is based off of like real life murders and serial killers and just macabre events that have happened and stuff like that. So meanwhile, they're getting ready to open up this awesome wax museum. There's a killer on the loose, and he's got a taste for blondes. He's been killing people and stuff like that. So they want to figure out who's doing this, because they want to put a face in basically put his face into the museum and stuff like that. So all in all, he ends up getting kind of captured and stuff like that. Well, not kind of captured. They end up capturing this serial killer. Anyways, he gets, he goes to court. He's found guilty and he's put to death. So anyways, he's on his way to the jail via train. Anyways, he makes this crazy escape, and he actually does evade the authorities. But at a cost, he actually has to chop off his own hand and stuff like that. So basically, it kind of jumps forward like 3 months later. He's actually survived the whole ordeal, but now he basically has, like a hook as a hand, and he uses like various weapons to like continue his serial killing. And he's actually got this really macabre idea where he wants to get revenge on the people, the authorities that put him, basically that were going to put him to death. And he starts to create a human, or create a human out of the pieces of the authorities that were going to put him to death. So he's out there doing the killings again. So of course it's up to them to figure out what the hell is actually going on with this and stuff like that. So it turns into a big mystery. So anyways, that is the short and long of the synopsis. Now my thoughts on this one. My nose is itchy. So my thoughts on this one. This is a cool film. This is actually really underrated, in my opinion. I have never really heard much about this movie before. My first thoughts on it was it's so much in the vein of like, the Mystery of the House Wax, or the Wax Museum, Vincent Price's House of Wax. It feels like that with the macabreness of the House of Wax characters and the whole idea of the criminals and the serial killers and just the macabre scenes and stuff like that. So it has that total feel, but it also feels like a straight up like Hammer horror film. It has that type of feel to it. I guess it's probably because like it's got Wilfred Hyde-White in it. He's the classic, English actor and stuff like that. So he kind of has that vibe of being a Hammer film, but it also feels like an Amicus film at the same time too. It just has all those elements. It is shot in color, and it's actually shot very beautifully. In fact, all the acting and the costumes in this film, which I'm assuming it takes place probably in the early 1900s, late 1800s, something like that. Everything's horse and buggies and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't see any vehicles, but they don't really give you a specific date, but it's definitely a period piece even for when this was made and stuff. But yeah, what really shines in this is the locations, the acting, the characters, they really do stand out. I think Cesar Danona plays such a great, he's fucking awesome in his role as like the guy, one of the criminologists and stuff like that. And also Patrick O'Neill, who plays the serial killer in this film, is fantastic. Very, very macabre, very engrossing performance. He's very sinister. It's just awesome. Something really odd about him too, because before he gets caught by the police and gets sentenced to death, he has a beard. And when they figure out that, you know, it's kind of him doing the same shit again, he is actually shaved, but he looks more sinister with a shaved face, to me anyways. I thought that was actually really damn cool. But all in all, man, the film is actually really cool. Now, what really makes this film interesting is the whole idea. Like I said, it kind of lives in the vein of like an Amicus Hammer horror film. You know, it lives in that House of Wax kind of area, but it also is very, very much linked to like William Castle and his gimmicks. So right off the start of this film, it gives you a warning. Like, this film is going to be so scary, it's basically going to make you shit your pants. Now, it doesn't really actually say it's going to make you shit your pants because it's 1966 and they didn't talk like that. But you get what I'm saying. It has like that phony kind of warning at the beginning, like this movie is going to scare the shit out of you. Now, where the gimmicks come into play. So it has a thing called the fear flasher and the horror horn, which actually says right on the cover. And it even shows you, it's like when something really sinister and macabre is going to happen, you know, you're going to get this fear flasher and this horror horn, and the whole screen's going to go red and it's going to scream this horn and stuff like that. And it does. So I thought that was actually really cool. It's a fun gimmick, man. It's like the William Castle thing with like the buzzing seats and shit. Like, fuck, I like those gimmicks, man. So I assumed that it was going to be overly gimmicky through the film, but it really only does it a couple times, and the way they did it in the film I thought was actually really cool. But yeah, the whole narrative of this movie is actually quite dark. Like, the character of Jason, what's his last name? Jason Kravitz. He plays Patrick O'Neill's character. That's the killer's name. He's a really sinister, dark fucking serial killer, man, for 1966. Like, it's pretty macabre, dude. Like, he's killing these women, and he actually at one point he like takes this blonde woman and he strangles her with her own hair and essentially kills her, and then marries the corpse at like gunpoint and shit. Like, it's really fucked up. Like, there's some really dark moments in this. Of course, it's 1966. When the kills happen, you don't really get to see a whole lot, which, you know, is kind of a shame. I would love to see, like, you know, Herschel Gordon Lewis gore with this type of macabre narrative, you know, kind of thing. But it's not a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie from the 60s. So, but it's a little bit more classy than that, if you know what I'm talking about. But all in all, I thought this one was really good. It runs about 100 minutes. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of mystery to it. I like the way the narrative progresses in the film, though, too, because you get to know a little bit more about the killer and his motivations. And, like, there's just a lot of really cool things that are happening in this one. I was really enthralled through the whole thing, but what really set this one off for me was the actual ending of the film. I thought was really cool and really well done. I thought it was really neat and unique on like how they actually captured this. I thought, man, it was cool, man. It was a really, really fucking cool ending. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really cool, man. Just a lot darker than I was anticipating a film from 1966 to be, especially being such a big Hammer fan, big Amicus fan. Like, they have sinister ideas in those things, but, you know, they're not overly the darkest things in the world. In fact, a lot of those movies are, you know, very bloodless and stuff like that. This one has a little bit of blood, which I will say. But yeah, so in that realm, I mean, this one kind of sticks out by itself. You know, it's got the gimmicks, it's got all that feel, but it still manages to stand on its own, which, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Chamber of Horrors, pretty interesting stuff, man. I like the whole idea of him using different weapons to kill the people, you know, in place of his, you know, his actual hand. I think that's really cool and stuff. But yeah, good stuff. So I'm going to give Chamber of Horrors a solid 8 out of 10. I think this one really needs to be checked out, man. If you're a fan of films from the 60s, like I said, Amicus, Hammer horror films, you know, Vincent Price, the House of Wax movies, like all those type of things, man, you should be a fan of this because, like I said, it has all those elements brought into this one. Really, really good acting, like really superb, high-class acting in this. There's a couple other people in this. I've recognized who they are. I'm not sure where they're from because sometimes I can't place faces that well, but all in all, man, really good film. Chamber of Horrors, definitely check it out. Good release from Scream Factory because, like I said, I don't know what movie I was getting this confused with. I think there's another film with a similar title. Somebody in the comments will let me know for sure. And I think it came around the same time, maybe late 60s too, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, that is going to do it for day 23 here on the 31 Days of Horror Volume 8. I'll be back with course day 24, and I believe, if I just looked, I think we're heading to Poland. We're heading to Poland tomorrow, I believe. So don't quote me on that. Apparently I'm pretty shitty at remembering where we're going. So, but anyways, guys, I will check you then, and leave comments down below. If you've seen this one, I'd like to know your thoughts on this one because I've really never heard anyone talk about this one, which is crazy. So, check you guys tomorrow.